Hello and thanks for joining us for a look back at some of the stories we covered on Community Update in 2019. We start with a young boy on a sweet mission who stopped by the Coon Rapids Police Department back in January.
Go!
It might look like kid versus cop. Coon Rapids police officer Brian Platts against the donut boy.
Your feeling has to go down.
But really, there are no sides here. On this day, roll call came with laughs and lots of sugar. 11-year-old Florida native Tyler Karach has given out 75,000 donuts to police officers around the country. Awesome. Make that 75,002. His mission to thank every cop in America started after Tyler and his mom had a chance encounter at a store in 2016.
I saw some officers or deputies, and so I wanted to buy them a snack and thank them. So when I left after thanking them, I said, why were they so happy over a snack and excited? She said it wasn't the snack they were excited about. It was because I took the time to say thank you. After I heard that, I said I wanted to thank every cop in America.
In the 2.5 years since, with Cape in tow, Tyler has traveled to 41 states delivering donuts,
Into the slammer.
getting an inside look at law enforcement,
Guys, turn off the lights, please.
and sharing his superpower, goodwill.
He's a nationwide sensation now, and it's such a good message. And for a kid that age to be thinking like that and to appreciate the efforts that go into this line of work, it's heartwarming. Funded by donations, sponsorships,
All y'all get together.
and the family's own pocketbook.
There you go, that works.
Tyler's mom is the engine making his donut dream machine run.
I never in a million years thought that it would actually turn into everything it has turned into, but it kind of just took off, and I just kind of rolled with it and, just kept planning things as we could. And
Smile over here, smile over here.
to see grown men and women who are touched so much by something as simple as just saying thank you. 2 simple words that, we all could do more of. And to see this little child being able to do that and put that impact on them is just incredible.
Now, back to that donut eating contest.
Oh no!
Yeah, that one. When a little child's play is this good for the soul, maybe everyone wins.
No!
For CTN Update, I'm Jennifer Anderson.
Good job.
Tyler continues his mission and was in Georgia right before Christmas delivering donuts. This next story also involves good deeds and law enforcement. Every February, hundreds of brave souls take an icy dip in Crooked Lake to raise money for Special Olympics.
3, 2, 1!
It takes a bit of bravery, and for some, the warmth of a stylish costume to take the polar plunge.
I'm a pineapple this year, as you can see.
Others didn't feel the need to insulate.
I think I'm the only one dressed up a little bit.
It's hard to put into words what you feel after jumping into Crooked Lake in February.
Obviously it's really cold, very cold. You think it's gonna be cold, and it's worse. It's very cold, but it's worth it, it's worth it.
There's a reason for all of this. And people do it in 20 other lakes around the state.
So we have about over 8,000 athletes that we have, so athletes with intellectual disabilities.
The Polar Plunge events raise more than $4 million for Special Olympics Minnesota.
The impact is full around. I think a lot of people think of Special Olympics and they just think of a track event or sporting event, but it really is that all-around programming and really trying to build a more unified and inclusive world.
Here in Coon Rapids, the Anoka County Sheriff's Office has been organizing these jumps for the past 8 years.
Of Coon Rapids, Anoka, Ramsey, Blaine, and Fridley.
Work that supports wellness exams, physical therapy, and speech development for athletes, and the programs that build friendships and confidence.
You think, I just don't want to do it, but think of them and really push through and do it.
And every year, more and more people are raising the minimum donation of $75 to jump.
It's not that bad. I might have scared some people, but it's great, it's great.
A few cold moments that will take your breath away, but leave thousands of lives changed.
Who knew that jumping into a frozen lake could do so much good?
Dan Carpenter for CTN Update.
The 2020 Polar Plunge for Special Olympics will take place on February 22nd. Back to the year that was, the Coon Rapids Police Department revamped its Citizens Academy, which gives residents an inside look at how the police department operates.
Behind this uniform, we're just like all of you.
Coon Rapids Police Sergeant Darren Kiesling began the first session of a new community police academy with a clear goal in mind.
All we want to do is use this to get to know you, but for you to get to know us.
This group, primarily made up of Coon Rapids residents, will meet 4 times during a 2-week session to get an inside look into the police department. This is a shorter, more streamlined version of what was once known as the Citizens Academy.
We don't want everybody that loves us. We want people that are skeptical of us too, maybe have their doubts, maybe have questions. We want this to be much more of a dialogue back and forth.
Good boy.
On this night,
Yes.
a canine demonstration
Good job.
was the headliner.
Somewhere in these tables, I've hid a little baggie of marijuana. I'm going to send him to look for it.
The idea is to keep the sessions engaging
Yes, good job.
and create space
Good boy.
for open dialogue with the people who make up the police department.
It's just our uniform we're wearing. But underneath here, we have families, we live in the city, we shop in the city, we go to the same parks. We're right next to you when we're not working, and we care about the city.
By doing away with background checks in order to participate and eliminating many classroom hours, Coon Rapids Police hope this new format appeals to a wider range of participants, like Amanda Lala.
I just think it's really interesting.
With 2 young children at home and a full-time job, the new Community Police Academy is a better fit. Amanda and her husband will get a crash course on more than a dozen police topics and a better understanding of their neighborhood cops.
You don't know until you've actually had the time to sit down, and most of the times they don't have that. So having this class really helps.
I hope that in years to come that we have different groups in the community that come and participate, so that we already have established the dialogue with those groups. If something does happen, it does the work up front of establishing relationships. Plus it makes our community better as a whole.
For CTN Update, I'm Jennifer Anderson.
The police department holds the Community Police Academy twice a year. In April, a long-running skating show in Coon Rapids celebrated a big milestone, and it's one that's really all in the family.
They glide into place. Practice for a special performance at the Coon Rapids Ice Center. An exhibition of 24 weeks of ice skating lessons, dancing, jumps, and spins rehearsed for the Ice Fantasy Show, a tradition in the community for 3 decades.
Oh, you were in the third one.
The year was 1989.
And I got to wear a pink tutu in my first ice show.
The Winter Olympics had been held the year before.
And I do remember watching all the figure skating in the Winter Olympics and being in my basement and just twirling around and dancing around.
Practice for the first Ice Fantasy Show was where 8-year-old Rebecca Johnson was introduced to a new sport.
And it was kind of love at first glide.
30 years later, she and 20 others from those early years are returning to perform again.
A lot of these people haven't really seen each other for years, and this is a great opportunity for them to get together.
Joining Rebecca Johnson in a performance is childhood friend Bianca Dixon, who brings a new performer to the ice.
This is my son, Jareth.
At 4 years old, Jareth is taking off down the same path as his mom.
It's basically in our blood, so our whole family has done it.
In some cases, 3 generations have a connection to the Ice Fantasy Show.
My daughter was a figure skater and skated up until the time she was 16.
Elise was in that first show and even skated with her father.
So glad I did it now, and then the memories I have had with her over the years.
Now her daughter will perform as she did 30 years before. This will be Nettle's 3rd show, but the most important because of who will be there watching.
Mom got cancer at Christmas time, so we've been going through a lot with that. She's planning on coming to the show. She'll be here.
4 nights of performances, showcasing a passion spanning generations.
I wouldn't still be doing it again if I wasn't having fun.
Dan Carpenter for CTN Update.
The Ice Fantasy Show will return once again in the spring for its 31st year. Housing rehab programs in the city have been a big hit in the last decade, but nothing has garnered as much interest from residents as a new program launched in 2019.
6-year-old Jocelyn Teeley is about as happy as can be on her backyard trampoline. A quick walk to the front yard.
Wow, it looks so nice.
And Mom and Dad are pretty happy too.
Ready?
Troy and Brandy Teeley just gave their 1960s home an exterior facelift, and neighbors are noticing.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice when people come by and say, hey, your house looks great. It really pops, it looks great.
The Teeleys traded a bland and aging exterior for modern and striking curb appeal.
The Coon Rapids city paper came, and right on the front was the front door program. So we went online, and the steps were very laid out, so simple. And within less than a week, we probably had everything squared away.
The city launched Front Door this spring. The grants, which are capped at $5,000, were eligible to cover up to 15 to 25% of the cost of exterior home improvement projects.
It's pretty easy. We wanted to make it very attainable for pretty much any homeowner.
Kristen DeGrand coordinates the city's housing programs. Front Door is intended to encourage home improvements citywide.
Everybody sees the exterior, they get motivated, they get inspired. Hopefully it's like a domino effect.
Like the Teeleys' home. They received more than $1,000 for this project. New siding, soffits, and fascia have given fresh life to their front yard, and hopefully to others as well.
I guess you got to take a little pride in where you live and, you know, keeps the values up. And then if you do it, maybe your neighbors do it, and the whole neighborhood will look better.
I absolutely think it's going to give anyone who's thinking about doing something to the outside of their home, I think they'll want to do some changes.
For CTN Update, I'm Jennifer Anderson.
In all, the program provided grants to 87 homeowners. In 2020, the city will hold a lottery to award more than $200,000 in new grants. Well, driving a big rig is no easy task, but those behind the wheel make it look easy. Earlier this summer, nearly 100 professional truck drivers converged on Coon Rapids for the Minnesota Truck Driving Championships.
Sometimes you feel like you're a little bit on an island out there. It's kind of me against the world.
Got some hard competition.
You get here and guys that at the beginning of the competition you don't even know, now all of a sudden you're friends with, you're exchanging tales of tough roads.
These men and women represent the best truck drivers from 27 companies.
The guys are trying to get to the nationals.
To get there,
20,
they'll have to earn the best score
45.
by navigating this obstacle course in Coon Rapids with precision.
That is correct.
Truck driving is a job that doesn't get a lot of attention day to day. It doesn't get a lot of kudos from the public. And yet what they do is so essential to be able to demonstrate it among their peers in a competition like this. It's thrilling.
The closer competitors get to these cones,
maddening,
the higher the score.
You have to go through 6 problems. You have to keep moving forward. You can't just stop and do it again and again. So it's trying to be perfect every time. That's nerve-wracking.
I couldn't judge where my wheel was.
Not to be left out.
Curve to the left, back to the right, then back it up.
We're future truck drivers.
Go through the zigzag serpentine.
Little kids, get them interested in trucking.
Go!
As we all know, they're always looking for drivers out there.
Yeah, good job, Allie.
The Minnesota Truck Driving Championships only allow those who haven't had an accident within the last year to participate.
You can drive safely around trucks because they're the safest drivers on the road, but you got to do 3 things. Don't cut them off, don't tailgate, don't hang in the blind spots.
A test for those who climb behind the wheel every day.
What do you get? 50?
And strive to be the best.
It makes them safer, it makes the industry safer, makes the public safer. It's a win-win-win for everyone.
Dan Carpenter for CTN Update.
The top 9 drivers went on to represent Minnesota in the National Truck Driving Championships in August. The city launched a new recreation program for kids over the summer. Instead of hitting the road to find fun, city workers do the traveling and bring different activities to neighborhood parks.
Oh, yeah!
This is Lauren Craig's new summer routine.
I looked out my window and I saw the truck in the park, and then we came out here and we had a great time.
Now, every Wednesday, when Wreck on the Spot rolls in, Lauren's parents know what to do.
Yeah, they just tell us, go ahead, it's time to start, and then we just go because they like that we have this too.
It's been going really well.
Dylan Brovik and his Wreck on the Spot team hit 3 different parks in Coon Rapids every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with a trailer full of fun in tow.
We do a craft every single week. We set up nets, play different games, but it's basically just to offer as many different activities outside of the park for kids and families to come over and use and do and play games.
A month into the program, participation has grown rapidly. Here at Prairie Oaks Park, turnout is particularly high. Wreck on the Spot also focuses on underserved neighborhoods.
So we actually are going to an apartment complex each week and providing programming there. It's an apartment complex that doesn't have any parks close by, and it's really in an island around a bunch of freeways.
Bringing programs to kids who may be less likely to participate otherwise aims to close a recreation gap.
We found that some teenagers are home all day with younger siblings and they're stuck inside having to watch. This gives them an opportunity to step outside, and they can get some free play, well, supervision for their siblings as well to play.
Since this crash course in mobile recreation is proving so successful, the city plans to continue it next year.
You got it, you got this!
As for the rest of this season, you can guess how many Wreck on the Spots Lauren Craig will be at.
All of them if I can.
For CTN Update,
Yeah, good job.
I'm Jennifer Anderson.
Once summer rolls around again, you can stay up to date on locations and any weather notices by checking out the Coon Rapids Ice Center and Recreation Facebook page. Another fun activity for kids each summer, safety camp. In addition to fun, some important lessons are learned.
For 2 days in July, these young students make new friends and get hands-on training that can prevent injury and even save a life.
We teach them CPR, we teach them bike safety, the importance of wearing their helmet, how to protect their noodles, their grapes, their eggs.
Meet safety camp team Blue Thunder.
We have a little saying that thunder goes!
All that Blue Thunder energy comes in handy when you're learning how to evacuate your home safely.
At this age, they're really curious, and so by getting to them at this age, we can kind of start to teach them those things before they get into home alone and they're on their own.
The camp partners with first responders like the Coon Rapids Police and Fire Department.
They remember you. Oh, I remember you from safety camp years down the road, maybe seeing them at other functions. So it's good to just be out and be visible for our department.
They drive home do's and don'ts when it comes to electricity.
Never put a pool under a power line.
Playing in and near water. And approaching train tracks.
And there is a train coming. What should we do?
Wait.
Stop and wait for it, right?
Well, we trick them into learning is what we're doing.
What?
Oh, I didn't say that. No, we're not tricking you into anything.
The camp is so popular, several former students have returned as junior counselors.
As I get older, I'll understand more of the adult counselor aspect, but I'll also get what it was like as a student.
A connection that helps educate these young students.
You may notice that most of our sleeves are off.
Without the classroom setting.
And when the sun's out, sun's out!
Dan Carpenter for CTN Update.
Thunder goes!
Safety camp will return again next summer, but it will only be held one day instead of 2. August always brings neighbors together in the fight against crime, and 2019 was no different.
As you all know, it's a big deal for our community.
Roll call on this day is a little different.
It's the best chance really that we have to have access to our biggest fans, so obviously enjoy it, have a good time.
Coon Rapids Police hit the streets for Night to Unite with a mission to make connections.
Obviously we have to deal with people in negative situations, but my favorite part about the job is dealing with people in positive situations and getting out and being a partner in the community and a role model in the community.
As grills sizzle across the city,
you're looking good.
Neighbors gather, kids explore.
I got to turn the lights on and off.
And police are guests of honor.
Delicious. It's amazing.
Everyone comes with a little bit of different variety of food, and everyone comes from a different culture. So we've got egg rolls, we've got different chip dips, hot dogs on the grill. It's great.
Party organizer Brianna Barta has lived on this Coon Rapids block all her life, where she says neighbors are more like family. But this year's party has a few newcomers too.
You have to say welcome and how do you do and where do you come from and what do you like to do.
Both young and old get to know new faces and reconnect with familiar ones, which serves an important purpose on this street.
Safety, especially because we all have lots of little kids. So we all like to know when they're walking home from school that when they're walking down the block, all the neighbors know who they are and where they're going.
People that live on this street know this street better than anybody else in the entire community. Better than I do, better than any of my partners. So when they see something that's unusual to them or suspicious, they call us and let us know, and then we can come and investigate.
A call made easier thanks to the connections happening here.
Yeah?
For CTN Update, I'm Jennifer Anderson.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Registration for 2020 Night to Unite will open on April 1st. As you know, heroes come in all shapes and sizes. Both kids and adults embrace their inner superhero during a special walk in Anoka this past summer.
Today, our community comes together to say domestic violence is no longer going to be ignored, misunderstood, or even tolerated in this community.
Standing up to the evils of domestic and sexual violence are well-known superheroes like Batman, but also smaller defenders of justice who are still breaking in their capes.
Go take a look at the lights on the side and front. It's pretty cool.
I think that coming out here dressed like superheroes gives you kind of a sense of, you know, we can take this on, and the capes and superheroes do it all.
The Heroes Walk for Women began in downtown Anoka with many steps before taking off
Bye, bye, bye.
to make a positive impact.
And it reminds us that every one of us can be a hero and stand up for something that we believe in.
Supporting the event were Anoka County's local superheroes, including the police and fire departments and sheriff's office.
Strong people stand up for themselves, but stronger people stand up for others.
Registration fees and other donations benefit Alexandra House, a shelter from violence, offering therapy and education for more than 40 years.
Anoka County and all of you are sending a message today. The Heroes Walk for Women tells people who are suffering in silence that Anoka County cares.
A community standing ready to support those who currently live in the dark shadow of violence.
Everyone needs heroes. The good news is also everyone can be a hero.
Dan Carpenter for CTN Update.
Thanks, everybody. Nice job. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Organizers plan to hold the Heroes Walk for Women again in the new year. Students learn a lot of lessons in school, but one of the most important is teaching them to respect themselves and others. A special retreat in the fall does just that for students at Coon Rapids High School.
It's not where you'd expect to see students in the middle of a school day. These Coon Rapids high schoolers may not be in the classroom.
Man, you got like a really good attitude, dude. Like, yeah.
But they are certainly learning.
And Louis just looks at me and he goes, "What are you doing?"
All ninth graders at Coon Rapids High School, along with a select group of junior and senior student leaders, took part in a day-long Respect Retreat. It's become an annual fall tradition for the freshman class.
Topics that they hit on are respecting yourself, respecting others, and standing up for respect when you see disrespect happening.
Online or in the locker rooms, the bus.
12th grader Alyssa Ross remembers well how important the retreat was to her 4 years ago. Now she's back as a small group leader.
Talking with everyone, Coon Rapids is such a diverse school with thoughts, races, like gender, everything. And just when you're put into those situations, you learn so much more about other people's cultures and you learn more about the world.
The Coon Rapids Rotary has covered the bill for this retreat for 4 years, committing about $13,000 annually to the cause.
Bullying is such an important issue these days. So many kids suffer from it. I think this is a great way that we can raise awareness and education and get at the root cause of it.
The impact is noticeable.
I see them alone, and part of me wants to go up to them.
I wish somebody else would have done the same for me.
He's not able to make friends like most of us.
You never know what you could say to a person that could make their day or that could break their day.
You can hear success as students stand and speak, and from the stories teachers share in the days after the retreat.
And she was like, "What's different today? Something's different." And a freshman boy turned to her and said, "I grew up yesterday." Call me. It can really have a lasting impact.
For Community Update, I'm Jennifer Anderson.
The retreat is run by Youth Frontiers, a nonprofit out of Minneapolis that has been hosting character-building retreats for 3 decades. Our final story is one that honors our veterans. After a 10-year hiatus, Coon Rapids High School brought back its Veterans Day program in November. It was a day of reflection to honor those who've served.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light.
They fought to protect our country, to maintain our way of life. As we honor our veterans and remember the greatest deeds, let's also salute those who are currently fighting for our freedom.
Thousands of Coon Rapids High School students recognized the sacrifices made by these military veterans.
First, we had William Storick.
They also recognized the sacrifice made by families of those who have served.
And we're proud to begin a new tradition here today. In thinking about how we wanted to make this celebration unique to our community and our school, the word that kept coming up was family.
Months or years overseas.
I was calling home to wish my son a happy birthday.
Protecting America can mean missing important days at home.
There was a pause in conversation. Then he said something that struck me right in the heart in both a sad and proud way. He said, "Dad, did you know that you've been gone for my last 3 birthdays and a total of 7 birthdays?"
A day honoring our nation's bravest men and women in uniform and the families that support them.
When you're looking at days like this, think about the families and think about the kids. And maybe go up to them, give them a hug, and let them know you're thinking about them.
Dan Carpenter for CTN Update.
A great note to end on. We appreciate you watching Community Update throughout the year, and we look forward to sharing even more stories with you in 2020. Happy New Year.